Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Fi Mastery Podcast, where our focus is on providing tools, resources, and insights that empower driven individuals to become the masters of their own financial independence journey. My name is Peter Donisanu, and today we're going to talk about setting up your business startup for success in the new year. Now, whether you've already started a business, you're working on a side hustle, or are still in the early phases of thinking about launching your own firm, you'll likely know that business failure rates for going out on your own are rather high if you're not prepared. Even so, if you manage to do everything right and get lucky along the way, then that tiny little startup could turn out to be your ticket to financial independence. That's why in today's episode, we'll discuss how, regardless of where you're at in the startup cycle, it's essential to master the basics as your business gets going. Doing so will help you dial in what you're doing and who you're doing it for, ensuring that you're making the best and highest use of your time and have the cash necessary to stay solvent as you figure out how to bring it all together. So with that, let's dive into today's podcast. So you finally decided to launch that new business startup in the year ahead. Congratulations. There's no better time than a new year to finally get that great idea that you've been thinking about for so long launched and off the ground. In fact, starting and growing your own business is one of the fastest ways to achieving financial independence and building generational wealth. Now, while seizing the day may work for some, the truth is that poor planning likely will lead to poor results. That's why before you build that website, apply for that taxpayer ID number, or register your firm, you'll likely want to focus on some of the more essential tasks to mark off your to-do list before you run out and quit your W-2 job. And so why not just jump right in? Well, while we all love an underdog story of the individual who scrapped their way to the financial success that they've been so longing for, the truth is that the failure rate for entrepreneurship is really high. In fact, government data shows that only around half of business startups survive longer than 5 years. And that number falls to a third after 10 years out. That's why before you put in your notice this year, focus on the fundamentals of solving the right problems for the right people, setting priorities for how you'll spend your time and how you'll actually execute, and most importantly, focus on giving yourself enough of a runway to ensure that your ideas have time to come to life. You know, no matter how great your idea might be, the fact is that without the right preparation, even the best ideas likely won't be able to take off without the right execution. That's why focusing on the who, the how, and mitigating the what likely will ensure that you're doing everything possible to create a thriving business and avoid becoming another statistic in the year ahead. Now, with all of that said, getting out on your own is still an exciting and fulfilling way to build wealth. The fact is that there are a few other ventures out there where you can take a great idea that you have in your head, mold it into something useful, and then have people actually pay you money to see your idea come to life. It's almost like pure magic, right? Well, it certainly seems so. But before you take the big leap and go out on your own, one of the first things that you'll likely want to do before your launch date is to ensure that you're solving the right problems for the right people. Sure, while many entrepreneurs have gotten lucky by striking out on their own and bringing a seemingly blockbuster idea to the market, the fact is that that foundational step can either make or break your entrepreneurial journey. How so? Well, imagine that you're a skilled chef who spent decades preparing gourmet meals for affluent, discerning guests in someone else's kitchen. Now it's time for you to strike out on your own and open your own restaurant, right? Here, your plan is to use your expertise to create dishes that are masterpieces of flavor and spices, but when you serve them, you realize that your customers are a group of children who prefer macaroni and cheese over your culinary masterpiece. So in this situation, how would you feel? You'd likely feel devastated, right? So what happened? Well, in all your effort to solve the problem of attracting and feeding an audience, you've created the right solution, which is a delightful, expertly prepared meal. But you've prepared it for the wrong audience, an audience who can't appreciate or enjoy the complexity and the dedication of your cooking. That's why it's crucial. It's so crucial to ensure that you're solving the right problem for the right people before you get started. So then how do you ensure that you've got the right fit? Well, to start, it's crucial that you genuinely understand the problem that you're trying to solve. Indeed, here, you're not just offering a product or a service, you're providing a solution to an issue that your potential customers likely face on a regular basis. And so how do you identify this problem? Well, it means taking a deep dive into your potential clients' needs and their pain points. You can do this by stepping into their shoes and spending a day in their life to see what it's like. And then ask yourself, are you addressing your market's genuine need, or are you creating a solution in search of a problem? Now, if you're doing the latter rather than the former, then you're likely setting yourself up for failure. Remember, a business only thrives if it serves a purpose that matters to its customers. So then what you'll want to do next year to ensure that you're serving your customers the right way is to take the time to identify the right people, or rather the right target market that you want to serve. Now, you might ask yourself, shouldn't I want to sell my services to to anyone who can fog a mirror? Well, the truth is that when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. That's why understanding your audience is vital to ensuring that the solution you bring to the market is tailored for those who actually benefit from using it. At the same time, by focusing on solving the right problems for the right people, you can refine your business model, your marketing strategy, and your product development to all align with the needs of your target market. Now, this alignment not only increases the likelihood of your business success, but also ensures that your efforts and your resources are wisely invested. Indeed, when you take these two components, the solution and the target market, and you successfully pair them together, you achieve what's known as product market fit. And so why does this combination matter? Well, dialing in your product market fit is essential because it can significantly improve the odds of your business lasting the test of time. And so how does it work? Well, product market fit occurs when your product or service resonates deeply with a specific group of customers while at the same time satisfying a real need for solving a genuine problem they face. It's that sweet spot where what you offer to the market aligns perfectly with what your target market wants and needs. More specifically, this alignment means that your solution is not only accepted but eagerly sought out by your target market. So then what can you do to ensure that you've identified the right product market fit before you launch your business? Well, you can start by immersing yourself in the world of your potential customers so you can seek to understand their needs and their preferences and their key pain points. And you can do this by engaging them in conversations, by conducting surveys, or even by participating in online forums and social media groups where they're actually active. Now, the point here is to develop firsthand insights into your target market's pain points, and more importantly, figuring out who you want to work with in the first place. Then once you've nailed down your target audience and their key pain points, the next thing you'll want to do is develop a prototype or a minimum viable product for your solution. Now, this solution doesn't have to be perfect, and that's where the name, the minimum viable product, actually comes into play. In fact, it just needs to be good enough to test your assumptions about what your customers need. Here, what you're doing is testing your solution with a small group of potential customers to see how they interact with it. You're trying to find out if they're excited about it. Does it solve their problem, or does your solution ultimately fall flat? Either way, the feedback you receive here is crucial at this stage because you can use it to refine your offering and your service to ultimately better fit your customers' needs. All right, so as you're going through this process of dialing in your ideal product market fit, you'll also want to keep an eye on optimizing your time and dialing in your client acquisition strategy. So then as you're launching your business, it's crucial to establish operational and sales processes from the very start so that you can meet these goals even if it might feel like a practice that's reserved for larger companies. Now, many of you engineers and creatives out there likely want to get your ideal dialed in and in front of as many people as soon as possible, and this approach, while appealing at first, could set you up for failure. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I want to consider putting together processes or procedures in place to track my operations and sales when I've got bigger fish to fry, right? Well, that might be true to a certain extent, but the fact is that having structured operational processes in place now can help you stay organized and focused to the point where you can drive sales results above and beyond your expectations. How so? Well, this approach involves setting up routines and systems for managing your day-to-day activities that inform how you handle incoming client emails, to managing inventory or product or software development time, to fulfilling orders. Now, this key organizational skill is crucial to maximizing your productivity, especially when you're wearing multiple hats within your business right from the start. At the same time, this kind of organization helps you prepare to scale your operations once your sales finally start to take off. Now, as it stands, you might be a one-person operation managing your entire firm, so not having processes in place may just seem fine for now. Even so, as your business grows, you'll likely need to delegate tasks or hire people to help out so you can focus your efforts on growing the business instead of working in the business itself. That's why having established processes in place now likely will make this transition smoother as you start to develop processes that can be handed off so you can focus your time and your attention on more important things. Indeed, when it's easier to onboard new team members or delegate services to outside parties, your well-documented process helps everyone understand how things get done with little to no explanation because it's all written down, right? So then what can you do now to ensure that you're taking all the right steps to get your operational and sales processes in place? Well, from an operational perspective, you can start by thinking about your daily routines and your activities as you go about your business. Here, you'll want to consider how you'll manage your time between different tasks, such as responding to emails, your marketing, your product development, and customer or client service. Again, it's all about establishing a routine that helps you maintain your focus and keeps you working efficiently. And so in situations like these, you can consider project management tools like monday.com or Toggle so you can schedule vital tasks and keep track of where your time goes on a regular basis. The next thing you'll want to focus on is your customer service. Here you'll want a good handle on the processes you'll use to address customer questions, concerns, complaints, and feedback. Now, in this situation, you'll want to consider technology and tools you'll want to use to support your operations, which can include customer relationship management or CRM systems. That's because the right technology can streamline your processes, save you time, and provide you with valuable insights into your overall business. And last but not least, you'll want to put in processes in place to help you stay on top of your money. This approach could include setting up processes for invoicing, for tracking expenses, and managing your budgets and handling your taxes. Either way, managing your finances is crucial to your starting business. You need to keep track of that cash flow. That's why tools like Zoho or QuickBooks Online can help you get started and stay on the right track no matter what happens. All right, so now that we've talked about the processes to consider for your operations, what then should you consider on the sales side? Well, when setting up your sales process, there are several considerations to keep in mind to ensure it all aligns with your business goals and effectively meets your customers' needs. And it all comes back to having a deep understanding of your target market. How so? Well, as you'll likely recall, this process involves knowing who your customers are, what they need, and how your product or service fits into their daily lives. That's why identifying your target market is such a crucial first step. Now, the next thing you'll want to consider in your sales process is thinking through the journey your customer goes through from discovering your product to making that first purchase. The key here is to put yourself in their shoes and feel what they're feeling. Now, this work involves understanding how they first learn about your product, the stages of consideration they go through, and what finally convinces them to actually buy your product. And so mapping out this buyer's journey is crucial because it can help you create a sales process that ultimately guides your customer smoothly from one stage of the buying journey to the next. At the same time, you'll want to consider how you communicate the value of your product and service to your potential customers. Here again, you have to be able to communicate that value, the value that you bring to the table. And this is important because if they can't see the value that you bring to the table, then your potential client likely will go somewhere else to have their problem solved. So then the value you communicate should be tailored to address your target market's specific needs and pain points, showing them clearly how your offering will benefit them over time. Here again, this is why dialing into your ideal target market is such a crucial first step. And finally, you'll want to continuously evaluate and refine your sales process. The fact is that as your business grows and the market changes, your sales process will need to evolve and adapt with it. That's why reviewing and adjusting your sales process on the regular ensures it remains effective and aligned with your long-term business goals. All right, so we've talked about product market fit and why it's so crucial to consider creating systems for your business before you launch. So then the last critical component you'll likely want to consider before stepping out into the unknown with your business launch is considering whether you're ready to play the long game. Now, mentally, sure, you're likely ready to see your business take off and go to the moon, right? But what about your finances? You see, as an entrepreneur, you need to be prepared to play the long game in the sense that your business survives long enough during the early launch phase. Now, this point is crucial because situations like finding the right product market fit or dialing in your sales process can often take longer than expected. So then you'll likely need that extra time to get all the fine details all lined up before you can actually go and take off. Indeed, the journey to entrepreneurship is rarely a straight line of success, and it's filled with all sorts of trials and errors and learning experiences, right? That's why planning to stay solvent is crucial right from the get-go. And so what can you do to ensure that you have everything you need to stay solvent and avoid going broke? Well, you can start by having enough cash saved up to help you navigate that early period of uncertainty before you make the leap into entrepreneurship. Now, while you've likely heard of stories of individuals who've maxed out their credit cards to start their passion pursuits, the fact is that the odds are likely not in your favor when it comes to launching your startup. Remember, the data shows that less than half of startups are still around after 5 years. So then going into debt to build an unproven business may not be the right first step. In fact, it could leave you with an enormous burden to bear should your business ultimately fail after all the dust settles. That's why when you have a financial buffer, you have the room to experiment, to iterate as you're getting started without worrying about where the money is going to come from. Here again, finding the right product market fit is often a process of trial and error, and it requires the flexibility to pivot or to tweak your product based on your customers' feedback. So then if you're operating from a cash shortfall and you're worried about going broke, then you might end up being forced to make short-term decisions that aren't aligned with your long-term vision. And under the right or wrong conditions, these compromises could accelerate your path to business failure and ultimately bankruptcy. Indeed, a plan to stay solvent can help you maintain your confidence and focus no matter what's going on in the economy or the markets. So then what can you do to ensure that you're playing the long game as you get ready to launch? Well, as you take that first step on your entrepreneurial journey, you may want to consider having enough capital on hand to sustain your business and keep the lights on for at least 3 years. And why 3 years? Well, think of the early years of your business as a crucial phase of growth and exploration. During this time, you're not just introducing your product or service to the market, you're also building your brand, establishing customer trust, and fine-tuning your business model. At the same time, this time frame also allows you to adapt and pivot. Here again, finding that all-important product market fit often involves trial and error. That's why by ensuring that you have sufficient capital for at least 3 years, what you're doing is you're giving yourself a substantial runway to develop your business without the immediate pressure to turn a profit. All right, and once your business has hit the ground running, make sure to review and adjust your plan on the regular to reflect the actual performance of your business. In this case, effectively managing your cash flows will be vital to staying solvent and ensuring that you're playing the long game. How so? Well, this process involves going back to the basics and keeping an eye on the money that's coming in and the money that's going out of your business. Here, you'll want to ensure that you're timely in collecting payments and prudent in handling your expenses. And finally, as you're bringing in the revenue, try your hardest not to spend everything you make. Certainly, some accountants will convince you that Uncle Sam will tax you on your gains and how it can be beneficial to spend all the money that you have and use it as a tax write-off. Even so, before you engage in this sort of spending, consider using the excesses that you have to top off your contingency fund, even if it means paying taxes on those gains. Either way, having enough capital to cover 3 years worth of expenses is not just about having a financial buffer, it's about giving your business the time it needs to grow, adapt, and find its footing in a competitive market. You know, when it comes down to it, launching a startup takes a lot of work, but it's often worth the risk because it can fast track you to your financial independence goals. Even so, it's crucial to note that entrepreneurship is fraught with challenges, and it's worth remembering that about half of new startups only survive past that 5-year mark. So then, this stark reality underscores the importance of meticulous planning and why it's essential to focus on the basics before making that major step like quitting your W-2 job. This approach involves solving the right problems for the right people, setting clear priorities for your time and your sales execution strategies, and giving your business enough of a runway to allow your business ideas to flourish. Remember, you may have a great idea, but without proper preparation and execution, it risks falling flat once it reaches the market. That's why you'll likely want to focus on who you're serving, know how you plan to do so, and have an ample liquidity reserve built up in the coming year. Doing so will not only position you to avoid becoming another statistic, it'll take you one step closer to becoming the master of your own financial independence journey. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Fi Mastery Podcast. To learn more about today's topic, you can visit the episodes page at FiMastery.com. And if you can find one person in your life who would find today's message helpful in getting their financial house in order, please share this episode with them. But until next time, I'm Peter Donisanu, wishing you and yours abundant health and prosperity.
The Fi Mastery Podcast is brought to you by Franklin Madison Advisors, Inc. Franklin Madison Advisors is a registered investment advisor firm with its registration and principal place of business in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Registration of an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. This commentary and forecast is limited to the dissemination of general information pertaining to Franklin Madison Advisors' investment advisory services and general economic and market conditions and are subject to change without notice. The information shared today is not intended to be personal, legal, investment, or tax advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any security or engage in a particular investment strategy. For additional information about Franklin Madison Advisors, including fees and services, please contact Franklin Madison Advisors or refer to the investment advisor public disclosures.